So I'm going to show you a way you can make lasagna without bacon. Okay, all right. You can use lasagna noodles, okay, that you buy at a store. Cook them, and you can make the lasagna right on the plate. Some besciamella, some parmigiana, some bolognese, and the pasta. It's pretty cool, okay, and it's much quicker, okay, and you can get a true al dente on the lasagna sheets that you buy in the store. So it's a whole different texture also. Here's that bolognese. Beautiful. See the consistency, and you'll remember I put no seasoning in this, no herbs in this, nothing, because I wasn't gonna make any pasta. I was making the sauce ahead of time. So now when I need the sauce for lasagna, or I wanna make pasta, whatever it is, bang, boom, zing, I season it. You're gonna see. All right, so obviously we need to loosen this up a bit, so I'm gonna put some of my brodo in here. Okay, bring this up to a boil right out of the fridge. Get it ready for this loose lasagna I'm gonna make. So we're gonna start over here on a low flame. Just melting the brodo in. Bring it back up to a boil, and then we're gonna season this. We don't need a lot of this sauce, only my son Vincenzo and I are eating. I might put a little more sauce in there, but that's probably plenty. Now we're gonna make the bechamel. We have a little bit of nutmeg, some whole local milk, local grass-fed milk, some bay leaves, and some 00 pasta flour. Nice wide pot, and we're gonna need a whisk as well. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna warm up the milk. I don't need a lot of sauce. I'm just gonna make like about a quart. That should be plenty. We're gonna put that up on a fire, get it up to a boil, put it on like a medium heat, okay? And now we're gonna make a whitewash here. That's a little too much flour, I'm realizing now. I'm gonna take some out. What we're gonna do is, once again, we're gonna mix in some milk right into the flour. Make what's called a whitewash. Yeah, you can do this with a fork, not your finger. Let me get a fork now. A little whisk is even better. Just want to dissolve all the flour into the milk. And then when this comes up to a boil, we're going to pour it in slowly and whisk the flour in. You could use a little bit more milk, just a hair more. Just like that. Here I have my nutmeg on a very fine side of the grater. I'm going to get a little bit of nutmeg in there, and some bay leaves also. I like a lot of bay leaf flavor in my bechamel, so I put a lot. I love it. It's critical. There you see, nutmeg and bay leaves. I'm going to wait on the salt. It's getting there. It's almost ready. It's almost up to a boil. And back here you can see my bolognese. A little bit of brodo in there. Just reheat and bring it back to a boil. I'm gonna get a little bit of bay leaf in here as well. And just a touch of salt and black pepper. There you go. You see I put the bay leaves in. Boom. Now we're looking over here. It's almost up to a boil. You're doing this with one hand. It won't be easy. Here we go. You should pour this in while you're whisking, but I only have one hand, so here we go. I'm gonna do it quickly. Boom. Putting a little bit in, whisking it, putting a little bit more, whisking it, and a little bit more, whisking it. That should be enough. Bolognese is ready. It just has to come up to a boil. I'm gonna kill the heat on that. And we keep going here. You're gonna see it's gonna start lightly thickening. We want it the consistency of heavy cream. You gotta be careful with a bechamel because if you make it too thick and it sits, it just keeps getting thicker. So make it a little bit on the lighter side. And remember, you can always add milk to thin it out at any time. So it's always better if you make it a little too thick while you're making it, as opposed to too thin, because then you got to add flour again. So if you make it a little bit too thick, you just add a little bit more milk, and you're good to go. If you make it too thin, you got to start all over again. You got to throw more flour in. You don't want to do that. It usually starts to thicken within a couple of minutes. It's already getting there. I'm going to get a ladle so I can show you. You see, it's already coating the back of the ladle, and that's what we're looking for. Just like that. Might even be a hair too thick. It's totally fine. I'm going to work in a little bit of salt. This is a little bit of smoked Maldon salt. Lower the heat down to low. You want to cook this for about 10 minutes, anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes to cook out the flour. Otherwise, you'll taste the flour. So that's when you know it's done, when you taste it and you don't get the texture of the flour. So what does it mean to cook out the flour? Well, the longer you cook this, usually 10, 15 minutes, you lose that pastiness, the flour flavor, the texture of the flour goes away. And that's what you're looking to do. And that's when it's done. When the texture of the flour is gone, it's ready. I'm gonna go just a little bit more flour in here, just a touch more. I was right on my original assessment. And we're good. I can smell it. It smells amazing. You smell the beautiful milk, the beautiful local grass-fed milk. You smell the Baileys, and you smell that milk fat is really what you smell. You smell the Baileys, the milk fat, and that beautiful nutmeg. See? Consistency is great. And that's it, it's ready. Now, you have to understand the bechamel will, if you don't keep stirring it and you don't keep whisking it, it will form a skin on top, okay? Which is fine, you can just pull the skin off. Okay, the skin's actually delicious when it forms, but just be aware. You should cool it down quickly if you're not using it. We need a ton of Parmigiana cheese.
You see, all my man, did you add it? Did you twist it? Did you hear it doing methods?
There you go.
Did you find it? Got it done.
Beautiful Parmigiana right inside the bechamel. We're gonna need a ton of Parmigiano on top. Here we go. We gotta keep an eye on these. Make sure that they don't stick. On the side like that. Make sure they don't stick together. That's the big problem. You don't want them to stick together. You want them to stick to each other. So we keep a close eye. Make sure we keep water between them. Keep them separated. Keep them separated.
What's the recipe in the recipe? What's the recipe in the recipe? What's the recipe, man?
Melting the Parmigiano in. Okay, let's strain it out. One-handed over here.
On the right side of
Right back into the pot.
with magnets. Man has magnets.
No water.
He walks with magnets.
Let's get some bolognese in there.
Walk with magnets. Do you walk with magnets?
Lather them up.
Do you walk with magnets? I
right on the plate. One-handed. Right on the plate. Boom. So we're gonna put some of this. Some of this. Some of this. Another piece on top. Like that. Take out that bay leaf. That. More besciamella. More parmigiana. More bolognese. More pasta bolognese. Boom. A little bit of bolognese sauce.
What am I looking for? That's always the most important.
A little bit more besciamella.
What am I looking for? Use your 5 senses.
More parmigiana.
Forget about time. Don't pull watches. Sit there.
Boom, that's it. Clean up the plate, we're good to go. It's really just an a la minute lasagna. It's a lasagna to order, okay? And it's delicious like this. You're gonna love it. You're gonna love trying it like this. You don't always have to bake it. You could literally make it like this and then put a shitload of Parmigiano on top and throw it under the broiler if you wanted and give it some color on top. That's also great. It's a great way to do it. I want to serve it like this tonight, so that's how I'm doing it for my son. That's basically what lasagna is. It's Parmigiano, bolognese, besciamella, and pasta sheets. Okay, so usually spinach pasta is lasagna alla bolognese classic, is with spinach pasta. But making it like this is really cool because it's fast. The pasta's a nice al dente. You can control the al dente better. Okay, and you can just keep making it on the plate. See, I wanted some more, so I put a piece of pasta down, I put some bolognese on it, I put some bechamel on top, I put some Parmigiano. Here it is. Boom. Bam. Delicious.